MJD Beats.
Live on the National Sports Studios from Spreaker.com, you are listening to In the Paint with Jordan Hunter and your host, Cameron Sadeghi.
The King is being waved goodbye by the palm trees in the Sunshine State, and now the King is coming back home. LeBron James, as you know, coming back to Cleveland. Hi, I'm Cameron Sadeghi alongside Jordan Hunter and a special edition NBA free agency show. Jordan, is this one of the craziest days in NBA history?
I'd say it has to be up there. Once LeBron went to Cleveland, all these smaller deals started falling into place, and it's been great as a basketball fan. I love this kind of this chaos and this feeding frenzy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so many, even moves that you didn't really expect, like Thabo Cephalosha going to Atlanta. That was pretty surprising. But let's start out with the King. He's coming back to his old home in Cleveland, and a lot of people are saying this is the favorite. The Cleveland is the favorite in the East, and I actually disagree. I personally think Toronto and Washington are the class of the East. I have to say that. Toronto and Washington, they're both the class of the Eastern Conference, and I know you hate that. But Cleveland, it may not be this upcoming year, but they are the team of the future.
Yeah, like LeBron said, he wants to promise a championship, but he has to be realistic. He knows the guys are young; they have a lot of work to do. I like LeBron, not going in guaranteeing a championship, because they have young guys. When the All-Star MVP is their second best player, you have something good.
Yeah, I agree. It's much better than with a broken down Wade and a Bosch maybe getting older. Battier on the way out, Ray on the way out. Now you have some more stability, and I think David Blatt is the real deal. I saw on B-Ball Breakdown how great David Blatt is offensively, and how great of a coach David Blatt is. He's one of the best coaches in the world, David Blatt, and you really got to give Cleveland some credit for what they've been able to do. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, who will win the East next year?
I was about to say, the LeBron signing totally shifts the balance of the East just completely. Before me to say this, with LeBron gone, I still think if Wade stays, the Heat are still a playoff team. But winning the East right now, I think it's Cleveland.
You know what? I think it is Cleveland, but I think it's going to be tougher than many people think it's going to be, because if you got to go up against Toronto or Washington in the first and second rounds, that is not easy. That is not easy at all. And I think it's going to be a tougher road the first year for LeBron reuniting. Maybe down the line it'll get easier as they develop, but I agree. I think Cleveland will win the East. But do you think Cleveland should be in a hurry right now to get some shooters around LeBron and Kyrie, like a Mike Miller?
Yeah, I definitely think they do need, say a Mike Miller, but their problem is there's one ball between the five players, and I've heard projected starting lineups being Kyrie Irving at the one, Deion Waiters, Wiggins, LeBron, and Verjao. But I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think you can have Kyrie Irving, LeBron, and Waiters in the starting lineup together.
I think Waiters has to go. I agree. I think Waiters should be a six-man.
Bench or go as an off the team.
No. I think go as in. Well, maybe you can use him as a trade, piece, but I think six man. I think Dion Waiters is a better six man. Honestly, I mean, I'm a huge Syracuse fan, and when I saw Dion Waiters just flat out put on a show as a six man when he was on the Qs, so Dion Waiters, your spot belongs as a six man. Dion, please, this is a message to you. Try to get six man of the year. You're gonna beat out JR. You're gonna beat out all these guys. Get the six man of the year for your team, okay? Please. And David Blatt knows what he's doing. He's gonna put Dion as the sixth man.
So, as I was watching the new classic Jabari versus Andrew Wiggins battle in the Summer League, Reggie Miller was saying that they actually envision Andrew Wiggins as a long two, as a shooting guard. Can you see that happening, Cameron?
You know what? Yeah, I think so. I think he has enough offense to really be that too, and I think in a way you look at his size and he could really all of a sudden become a post-up two guard, at 6'8". So I think that could be some really good for Cleveland, and that could provide some matchup problems if you think about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially for those teams, say like the Suns who play two smaller guards with like Bledsoe and Dragic. He'd be able to eat those guys up all the time. Another thing I think Cleveland needs is a rim protector. They need a big Z like they had.
Oh god.
A big Z, because Varejão's not that. It could be off the bench. It doesn't have to be a starter. I think an off the bench rim protector.
Well, oh yeah. You know why I'll say no to that? Because I don't think it's necessary right now. If you look at when Miami won these past few years, and you can even say San Antonio, I don't think they really had a big-time rim protector. But let me tell you this. Both Miami and San Antonio, they had tons of three-point shooting, and that's what they need desperately, Cleveland. They need to find a way to get big-time three-point shooters now. Like, urgent. Like, it better be done tomorrow, or it better be done in a few days.
Yeah, they need someone who, not someone who can hit the three like Kyrie Irving or LeBron even, or Waiters. Someone who's a three-point specialist. Someone who's on their birth certificate that says 3-point specialist. It's like you said, a Mike Miller. There are guys still out there, Ray Allen. Yeah, they could be veterans, they could be young, but I think you need to surround LeBron with some nice bench pieces. That's what I think he wants.
Yeah, I agree there. What do you think about? Actually, I was going to ask you something about Cleveland. What do you think about this kind of historically, and do you think that in any way this was a PR move, or do you think LeBron really thought this was the best chance to win?
Well, when he released that whole little piece on why he chose it, he said, his pregnant wife, and he wants to raise his family in Cleveland. He said, Ohio is bigger than basketball. So I think this had a real emotional level to it, this decision. 4 years ago, it was basketball. It was the decision, I want to go there to win rings.
Yeah.
I think rings taken a back seat to wanting to give back to his hometown. That's why I kind of... I've never been a LeBron fan. I'm just going to say this.
Oh, come on. Please, I'm going to convert you now.
I've never been a LeBron fan, but, I mean, the way he plays, he's so good, and, this move was a really classy move compared to 4 years ago, which enraged me, that whole thing. But I definitely think it was. I don't think he had a better chance of winning probably in Miami.
No.
You don't think?
Well,
in the near future, like next season.
yeah, but do you think LeBron's really thinking that? Like, maybe they. Okay, if we think about it, you would agree with this. In the near future, next year, I think they could win. Like, if the teams stay together, and it was LeBron and, Bosh, obviously, and Wade, and everybody was there, I think they could win one more. So that would give LeBron 3 rings, right? But with Cleveland, I think this team can get to the finals, like, 4 to 5 years in a row.
Whoa!
Yeah, like, I really... Okay, think about it. When LeBron probably thought about this in his head. When his prime is done, it's Wiggins and Irving and Kyrie Irving's prime. You can't get anything better than that. With Miami, there would have been there would have been nothing to rely on or to lean on. But now LeBron has that with Kyrie and Andrew Wiggins.
And Tristan Thompson.
Exactly. So it's the perfect. It's all about the future. It really is. And I think LeBron made the right decision here. Honestly, you know me. I've been a LeBron supporter from day one, and if LeBron had even gone to Phoenix, actually I would have liked that more. But if LeBron had gone to Phoenix, if LeBron had gone to Milwaukee, it really would have not mattered. I still would have been a fan anyways. But what a journey! What a evolution of a man. Okay, now that's just I just made that up on the fly, but I'm proud of what he was able to do.
You want to start getting to some of the smaller acquisitions throughout the last day and a half?
Yeah, let's go non-ESPN and go through everything else.
Okay. Hawks signed Thabo Sefolosha, 3 years, $12 million. Nice small contract. What do you think?
Great. You get a defender that never gets respect in this league. You get... I mean, honestly, Oklahoma City Thunder fans, be quiet. So many fans disrespect what Sefolosha is able to do defensively. I dare an Oklahoma City Thunder fan to play some defense like he does. You know what, Atlanta? You're getting better. Next year, you're going to upset Indiana.
I really do.
You're going to upset Indiana next year, Atlanta fans. Believe in me. Go fill up Phillips Arena, and we are going to beat Lance and the dance crew all the way. Let's go, Hawks, every day of the week. Hawks are going to upset somebody in the first round.
Since you like Thabo, do you think he would have made a difference in the Western Conference Finals or no? He was benched. He was benched that whole series.
Well, okay. The way Oklahoma City's offense is, where it's no ball movement and everybody just goes 1-on-5, of course he's gonna get benched. But if he was in San Antonio, he would have never got benched. Let's be honest.
That's true.
So, what do you think about Thabo coming to Atlanta?
I like him. I think he and Jeff Teague make a great defensive duo, because Millsap's not that great of a defender. Horford's average, and Corver's just a shooter. So he's just a shooter. So I think adding Sefolosha was huge for them.
Yeah.
They have a really good starting five, and their bench isn't bad either. DeMarre Carroll probably gets moved to the bench with your boy Para. You think they start? Your boy Pero Antich is still there.
Something about DeMarre just reminds me of Latrell Sprewell. I don't know. He just has that fire in him. That it's like if you bench him, I feel like DeMarre might get mad if he gets benched.
Yeah, him and Sefolosha are similar players too. They're both 3-and-D type of guys. They can hit the 3 down if they're open, and they'll play defense. I think Sefolosha's maybe a little better defender though.
Yeah, I agree.
Technically, but DeMar Carroll's definitely more physical. Okay, there were some real small deals, Kent Bazemore to the Hawks, also Jordan Farmar to the Clippers to replace Darren Collison as the backup role. I was disappointed in that one. I was a big fan of Jordan Farmar. I really was.
Wait, so now you're not?
I was a big fan of him on the Lakers. Now that he goes to the other locker room, it's kind of like I thought he was a really good player on the Lakers. He really was.
I just don't think he's going to be good on the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's just, first of all, I think it's a travesty that Darren Collison left the Clippers because he was one of my favorite players here in LA, and it's just it's so unfortunate. I mean, I love how Sacramento is going to make Sleep Train Arena a little bit more interesting. Nobody's going to go to sleep in Sleep Train Arena when Darren Collison is playing. But Jordan, I mean, I just don't think Farmar really is going to give that same impact that Collison did. So, I think the Clippers are regressing a little bit.
You do?
I thought that, I think Houston's on the rise a little bit. But I just don't think the Clippers are really, like, I thought Collison was a bigger impact than people really gave, credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, it's not going to work out. Do you think the Clippers have regressed?
They're one of those teams that they're a good team, but they don't have a lot of cap space, so they can't make a big free agent splash. They don't want to trade away any of their pieces for a superstar, like a sign and trade or anything like that. I think they probably could have made. I mean, look, they got Farmar, they got Spencer Hawes to a 4-year, $23 million deal. Those are some nice pieces. You don't think because their starting lineup, I think, is set.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Clippers are the most talented team in the league. Well, I mean, last year, with Collison, I've always believed that. I mean, you would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just top to bottom, they got all the talent that you can ask for. But I don't think they have, to me, Collison kind of brought that championship DNA, really, because you need somebody who's going to give it to defensively and, a guy who's going to provide that spark. I always feel like when the championship teams, they always have that guy who can be that spark.
Yes.
And I thought Collison was that. And now he's gone, so it's like, will this team ever get to the finals? Probably not, So I don't think I think the Clippers may move back a little bit, honestly.
Okay. Like I said, Spencer Hawes, Blazers signed Steve Blake, 2-year, $4 million. I was asking Cameron if that means Mo Williams is on the outs. Maybe back to Cleveland.
No, Mo, don't come back. Don't come back after you disrespected LeBron James. How many times? But, look, I think Steve Blake, a nice reunion, in Portland. I think that's pretty nice, but
I think he's going down, too. His career.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be behind C.J. McCollum, and I think Portland really likes him.
Do you think it's a bad move? Because I would want C.J. to play more.
I think Steve Blake's that third point guard. I think he knows, unless bearing injury, he's not going to play much. Kind of like the, well, no, I take that back. Because there were times this season when Mo and McCollum were at the same time, because McCollum is 6'3", he can play shooting guard. Same with Steve Blake. Steve Blake's 6'3", so he can play either position.
Do you think it's going to be a tryout, basically? Whoever does better in training camp will start the season? Kind of like Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, kind of? Okay, I had to bring that up, but
yeah, I actually think it could be. I really do.
I agree because they both can provide things equally. Blake, or Blake is a great shooter. McCollum, I mean, some people don't think he's that great. I think he's a good shooter. People could say Blake is a better defender. So it's like give and take. Whoever's going to outperform. It's just whoever outperforms each other, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need a bench, too. That's one thing they needed was a bench, and I think that can help them a little bit. Okay, one you want to talk about? Sean Livingston to the Warriors, 3 years, $16 million. Nice little deal for him.
Great deal. Sean Livingston, he came back and, he had some rough times for a long time, and now he's finally back in control. He can do it all. He's so talented. He's so big. He's so athletic. I think it's a great move for Golden State. They really stole him, honestly. And what do you think Golden State? Because Golden State has a few things going. Klay Thompson can get traded. Maybe if Kevin Love comes. Do you think Golden State has that, chance to all of a sudden put them in the top 3, top 4 in the West?
I don't know. I've been hearing they won't trade Klay. Klay will not be part of a Kevin Love deal. But with the team as it stands right now, and they have a great. I think they also have one of the most talented starting fives in the league. And then Livingston off the bench. Festus Ezeli coming back. Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green. I think that's a really good team. And the thing about Livingston is he can slot in at the point, the shooting guard, and even the small forward position.
Yeah.
So they can slot in Iguodala at times at the stretch 4. But what are you talking about in the top 4 in the West? I think they could. It's just a matter of how they play and how they close out games.
Yeah, they sometimes. To me, the Warriors and the Clippers, they sometimes shoot themselves in the foot. Honestly, I mean, but that Oklahoma City versus Clippers series was god awful in my opinion. It was one of the most ugly. Well, I mean, Chris Paul fouling Westbrook, taking a wild 3, and then Chris Paul fumbles the basketball. It was just so ugly to see the end of games with both those teams, but I'll just move on from that. What do you think about Vince Carter? He's in Memphis now. I mean, do you think Vince can now be that 6th man that Memphis is looking for?
Yes. Memphis is a middle of the pack team to me. They're not in the top 4. For the next few years, they could be in that 7-8. So this is a little off topic. I just wanted to. I was listening to someone on the TV, and they brought up an interesting point. It was about Pau Gasol, and because Marc Gasol pertains to this, and it was saying if Pau Gasol went to New York for a year, then try to recruit his brother next year. This is all if Melo stays. Do you think that could happen?
Wait, so Melo would stay, and then Gasol
this year, yeah.
will go to New York?
And then try to recruit his brother next summer.
Wow, that would be scary if that happened. But, New York would all of a sudden become a real solid contender. Man, I don't... Oh, God. I actually don't think Pau Gasol is going to New York.
How scary do you think it would be if Pau Gasol went to San Antonio? In Popovich's system?
Oh, God. And because he's such a great passer, too, that makes it even more scary. It's scarier. It's not like he takes bad shots either. I honestly think the 3 teams he's going to go to, or the possibilities, I think he's going to go probably OKC, San Antonio, or Phoenix.
Okay, San Antonio. Phoenix?
They talked about it in the rumors in the middle of the season, and I think they still have enough cap room to get Powell. Powell's not worth that much.
Well, yeah. with the Powell rejecting the Lakers 2-year, $20 million, I don't think it's about the money. I just don't think he wants to play in LA anymore. That's saying, but he's trying to make it seem like it's the money. You know, I think Houston should make a move for Gasol. They cleared enough cap space.
No, they shouldn't. I'll tell you why.
Oh God.
No, they shouldn't. Because he does not play well with Dwight Howard. I don't know why that's the case. But he does not play well with Dwight Howard. It's so weird. This is the best center in the league, and he just doesn't play well with him. I don't know why. I just think Powell...
System, though. This isn't the D'Antoni system.
Okay, that's true, but in my opinion, I know I'm trying to recruit everybody to come to Phoenix, but just think about this for a second. If he comes to Phoenix, you're going to one of the best medical staff. So you're extending another 5 to 6 years for Powell. And then now, with this run and gun fast break system...
That's not Powell, though. That's not Powell's.
Are you sure? He can run the floor pretty well.
I've seen him on the floor. That's true. But don't you think Powell kind of thrives in a half-court kind of offense?
You know what? You're right. Because in the triangle, he was just out of this world. And when he was in Memphis, they ran a lot of half-court sets, and he had success. I agree. I actually agree with you. I think the one team that needs him the most is Oklahoma City.
Oh, yes.
They need to sacrifice a lot to get Powell, in my opinion.
I think they can get him if they use that mid-level exception. I don't know if Powell would want to go to OKC because I was hearing reports that they're not diverse enough culture-wise.
But
I don't know why that's such a big deal to him, but
what does he mean by culture?
Like LA and New York has all the different, it's so diverse, and New York has the United Nations, and he's part of the United Nations.
Oh my God, is Powell really?
That's what I'm hearing.
Powell?
From Adrian Wojnarowski.
Oh, Adrian. He always finds some, golden nugget of information. I like Adrian a lot, but... No, I really do. I like Adrian, but I just... Honestly, Powell, chase the ring, please. Chase it. No, come to Phoenix or OKC. Those are your only two choices, according to me. But, let's go back to VC.
Don't you want Powell to go to San Antonio?
If Powell goes to San Antonio, I mean, I want to see how San Antonio does without a free agent. It would be the greatest thing in the world if they won another championship.
Without upgrading their team.
Without upgrading. That would be arguably the best accomplishment in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Gasol should go somewhere else. But let's go back to VC in Memphis. Do you think VC has enough for 2 years, or do you think this is... because they gave him a 3-year contract. I don't think he has 3 years in the tank. I think he only has 1 or 2. Do you think Memphis is overestimating him?
I don't think they'd want to give him a 1-year deal, and then they probably wouldn't resign next year. So I think a 3-year... and it's a small deal. It's not like 6 or 7 mil. It's a small $4 million a year. He's a solid role player. I don't know where he fits in their system. I don't. It was just a nice little pickup. I like the pickup.
But don't you think because I personally, what I would do, and this is dirty of me, but I would try to burn him out for 1 year.
What?
And then make him as my 6th man, burn him out, and then trade him to Sacramento and get a bunch of first-round picks. That's personally what I would do, because that's the best you're going to get out of Vince. Because that team needs a really great offensive player, and I think he is for 1 year. I don't think he is for 3 years. So I think you got to burn him out for 1 year and then trade him to a bad team and get a lot of draft picks. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I know that's dirty of me, but I mean,
Okay.
what do you think about Oshik coming to, New Orleans and becoming a Pelican?
I really like that move. I think that's what the Pelicans have been looking for is a guy who doesn't demand the ball, who plays good defense. So, because this Pelicans team, they're young and they have a lot of offense. We're talking Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, who's evolved offensively, Eric Gordon, and then Tyreek Evans off the bench, who's Tyreek Evans. What do you call Tyreek Evans?
Oh yeah, Pro-Am, get to the San Francisco Pro-Am and Euro step past everyone in the world. Tyreek, let's go.
I think it was a really good pickup for them. I don't know. Hopefully he starts. He's the type of player that deserves to be a starter.
Yeah, I would agree there. I mean, Charles Barkley, remember when he made that ridiculous claim that was incredible? He said Tyreek is going to be like Scottie Pippen, and everybody jumped out of their seat pretty much. I agree, but Oshik is a great move. He's a good rim protector too, a great rebounder, great defender. I agree. So, what do you think about Chicago? Because they have a lot of scenarios. Some people are even saying Gasol could even come to Chicago. Yeah, I heard, Tom Penn from ESPN?
Yeah.
The guy, the capologist guy who uses that screen and, oh my god, that's all he does all day. He just messes around with the salary caps of teams, moving players. He's like, what if Carmelo comes to Chicago? It's like, what if Carmelo comes to Milwaukee? It's like, dude, we don't need that psychoanalysis. But getting back to the point, Chicago and Dwayne Wade. Can Dwayne Wade say, I want to take my talents back home? Is that a possibility?
No, I think he's a lifer. He's going to get molded into the GM in 4 years.
Wait, he's going to become the GM?
I think after he's done, he's going to have a role on the team. Whether it's GM, coach.
So he's going to have the Alonzo type power.
Yeah, I don't think Dwayne Wade goes anywhere. Now, if Bosch went to Houston, I think Dwayne to Chicago became a lot more realistic. But now that he knows he has Bosch, and you never know. What if Melo still went to Miami? What if Melo?
No, he's not. I heard Frank Isolov, the Daily News in New York. He said it's like a 95% chance Carmelo goes to New York.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be entertaining, but
Melo in Miami, that'd be.
I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach. Okay, go join Wade and try to, do isolations and completely destroy Eric Spoelstra's playbook. But what about?
The only person who followed the playbook was LeBron. Wade would just say, "Hey, every 3 plays, give me the ball."
Yeah, LeBron actually followed the playbook. But what do you think about Carlos Boozer? Do you think he needs to get waived, or do you think? Because a lot of people have been saying Carlos is going to go to New York.
The only way they can create space for, say, Melo or maybe even Dang for a return is if they amnesty Boozer, which I think they need to anyway.
Yeah.
Or I've been hearing sign and trade with the Lakers to send Gasol. Say you send Gasol to Chicago and send, say, Boozer and Dunleavy to LA.
No. That's giving the Lakers way too much power. No, I'm kidding. That would be good for the Lakers. I mean, you can do that high pick and roll with Lynn and Boozer all day long with Dunleavy in the corner. I don't know if Lynn will make that pass with the corner to Dunleavy, but at least that's a big three right there.
What about Kobe?
Wait, Kobe? I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who that guy is. That's a big four right there with Kobe in that mix. But yeah, they need a wave Bruiser. Because then I think it will make Carmelo, second guess himself. He'll say, you know what, maybe I do want to go to Chicago, but we'll see how it goes there.
Do you think Melo goes to Dallas or no?
Dallas always gets the short end of the stick in everything, pretty much, so no. They do. They get the short end of the stick.
That's so true. Like in the way Houston is playing them is Dallas. Like Houston is going to use all 3 days to finally match probably Chandler Parsons, and so if Melo makes a decision during that time, Dallas wouldn't even have the cap space to sign him. Which because Houston probably is going to match Chandler Parsons. I gotta talk about all that restricted free agent stuff later. But yeah, Dallas, they're always getting screwed. Darren Williams 2 summers ago.
Oh god.
Dwight last year. LeBron 4 years ago. I feel bad for Cuban. Cuban doesn't deserve that.
I have to say this. He doesn't seem to regret it in a way, because if you think about it, his teams always had success. They've had that one superstar, and then they surround all the great role players. Monte, kind of playing the Jason Terry role in a way. I think Mark Cuban likes this. I think it's I personally think it's Slam Online, Dime, magazine, maybe ESPN, just with all the rumors, because there's such a huge market, you kind of expect, hey, a superstar would want to go play with have Mark Cuban as their owner. I think it's smokescreen effect, honestly. But I'm proud of Dallas and what they've been able to do. What about another, mega talented player? C.J. Miles.
Oh, yeah.
C.J. Miles is coming to Indiana. 4 years, $18 million. So, Indiana, they always love to add talent, but does paper win championships?
No. Is Stevenson gone? Does this mean... That's a pretty nice little deal. And he's a spot-up shooter, and he can get to the basket. So does this mean Stevenson can dance his way out of Indiana?
Well, he's got to dance soon to Atlanta. I mean, honestly.
Or he could blow his way out. He could always blow his way out.
You know what would be the greatest story? It would be kind of like Latrell going from Golden State to New York, but it would be the most amazing thing in this world if we saw Lance Stevenson go to Atlanta. Atlanta becomes the 8th seed, and then Indiana becomes the number 1 seed. And then in Game 7, Lance Stevenson gets a quadruple double with 50 points, 20 assists, 10 rebounds, and 10 steals from Paul George. It would be the most beautiful thing in sports to see Lance come to Atlanta and beat his former team.
That would be... I wouldn't... Atlanta wouldn't make... They have a lot of wings.
But why not? He's an explosive shooting guard.
Because he would want to start, and I don't...
You don't think he'd want to start?
I don't know if he fits. Atlanta's a tight-knit team. Budenholzer wouldn't take that mess. Budenholzer would say, sit your butt on the bench.
Well,
he comes from Popovich's system.
Well, no, but we could always say this. Popovich has had some ball stoppers before. I mean, some people said Steven Jackson, but he was able to deal with that. Bud Ball will work with Lance Stevenson. Trust me. Bud Ball will work, okay? Jeff Teague will be right at his side. Mike Scott and Peril Ontich will be the real great father. And tell Lance, if you don't give me the ball, I'm gonna do what Bill Laimbeer did and just like kick you out of town. So, Lance, come and dance in hot Atlanta. We miss you. Come back.
So, I also heard Lance may be going to Dallas. I know we've been saying Dallas.
Oh God.
But I'm serious. Lance to Dallas.
You know what? I would love to see Lance and Mark Cuban in some business deals and go on Shark Tank or something. But Lance, if he comes to Dallas, I don't know if Dirk will even want to play with him. Do you think Dirk would love to play with Lance?
I don't know if you could have Lance and Monte on the same team, and
What about Lance to LA? I know you would love that. He'd come to the Lakers.
Oh gosh, you could not have Lance and Nick Young on the same team. Oh, so many headaches for Kobe. Oh,
we could add J.R. Smith to the equation just to make you happier if you want. Oh God. But if you're Lance, because he's determining his future, right? I think, is he unrestricted?
He's unrestricted.
Yeah. If you're Lance, do you go to the James Harden formula and say, you know what? I'm going to pick a kind of a bad team and be the star and lure free agents like what James Harden did, or do you go to an established team?
I don't think Stevenson is as good as Harden was when he left, when he got traded to Houston. Harden was the sixth man. I don't think many people like Stevenson either. He's not a very likable guy.
That's okay though. I think Milwaukee doesn't care about likable guys. I think they just care about putting points up on the board, and that's what the guy can do. I mean, he's just mixtape material, top to bottom. He is 6'5", 227 pounds. I'm reading this from Yahoo, by the way. He's 6'5", 227 pounds of full mixtape material.
Oh, gosh.
And if I'm Milwaukee, if I'm even Orlando, what about Orlando? It's a young team. Yeah, there you go. Orlando's the spot for Lance.
He could be the next T-Mac.
Yeah, he can.
But he'd be throwing lobs to Aaron Gordon 24/7. You got Tobias Harris trying to take his jump shots. You got Vucevic getting concussions, staying out for over a month. Alfred Baylor and Ola. Oh gosh, that'd be a great team.
And then with Jock Vaughn trying to control things in that locker room would be flat out entertaining.
That would be a really. You know what? That could be the next OKC kind of.
Yeah.
Go through the draft, get a lot of young guys. It's like they built the draft a lot. The only guys they've really got through trade or free agency are Vucevic and Tobias Harris.
Yeah, so I think again, so if you're Lance, do you go to Orlando, or do you think there's somewhere else you should go? Because he's got to make a decision quick.
Orlando's a good fit. Maybe he goes to New York.
Oh, yeah, because he is from New York. And
if I check out on Melo, and he goes to New York, he would be a household name. There'd be Lance Stevenson bobbleheads and...
He would be Latrell.
Posters.
He would be Latrell 2.0. And then he would have that, apologetic press conference. Remember when Latrell went from Golden State to New York and he started to apologize to about everyone in the world and saying how he's not that bad of a human being? I think that's what Lance is going to do. And Lance, come to New York, come to Milwaukee, come to Orlando. It's your choice. Pick one.
What about Lance to Miami?
Hey, I think he likes South Beach a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. If he wants to, live there forever, Lance, go ahead. I know you love that area.
Yeah, he and Wade got into it a little bit this season, so I don't know how that would go, but Stevenson, wherever he goes, he's gonna have a fun time. He's gonna dance. He's gonna dance around. He's gonna, if he goes to New York, he becomes what if he, wherever he goes, he could be the next Latrell 2.0. He needs to bring a 2x4 with him, and he's good.
Well, Jacques Vaughn is going to be PJ Carlissimo, and he's going to tell. Should we go over the story again? Yeah, let's talk about the story. Okay, so Latrell choked PJ Carlissimo back in the day because PJ told Latrell, you need to put more mustard on your pass. And because Latrell was not throwing good passes in practice. So then Latrell got a little angry. And PJ's a pretty headstrong guy. So they were going back and forth. So I guess what happened was Latrell leaves practice. He says, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm going to leave for today. I'm going to go home. And, PJ says, oh, just go. So I guess Latrell went to Home Depot and got a 2x4 and then wanted to choke Carlissimo, and he did. So that's the way Latrell went to New York.
Wow. You told that story perfectly.
Well, I heard it, first of all, my sources, even though I know most media don't, they have, undisclosed sources, but I'm going to make sure everybody knows my sources. Number one source was Wikipedia, number two source is YouTube. So my story is about 50% credible. So I'm sorry if it's not the truth. Latrell, if you're hearing this right now, call me or something or comment on the green bubble and we'll get you on the show. But that's all I know.
Okay, back to what do you think of Jody Meeks to the Pistons, 3-year, $19 million?
I think it's not that bad considering how great of a shooter he is. And that team desperately needs shooting. I mean, that team was horrible from three. Horrible. So do you think Jody could maybe get them to the playoffs? Eastern Conference isn't tough.
It isn't. The Eastern Conference is wide open. They really want to keep Greg Monroe, and the windows are kind of closing for him. Maybe Greg Monroe goes to Phoenix. I don't know, but if they can keep Greg Monroe and develop Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they still got Rodney Stuckey. They got a lot of guys who are worthy of minutes. I think they could make it to the playoffs. Maybe 7th, 8th seed.
Yeah, I would agree there, and I think Meeks gives them more three-point shooting. So I think that's something that they desperately need, and they filled that void. What about the Caveman, Chris Kaman? He's going to join Steve Blake and go to Portland. Do you think that's good stability for Portland or not necessary?
I think maybe the contract's a little too big because he's injured sometimes. So maybe I think they could have got a 2-year, $4 million, maybe 2 or $5 million. But he's a good backup for Robin Lopez and LaMarcus Aldridge. I think it's a really nice piece for them because they've. Like I said, they've lacked depth, and then next thing you know, they get two teammates who play together for half a season. So a little chemistry there. I think they're getting more depth. The thing is, their only concern, their starting five was great.
Yeah.
It was probably they're probably one of the more talented starting five too.
I thought Portland was right up there. If they didn't run into San Antonio, they could have been in the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion.
You think they could have beat OKC or Clippers?
Yeah.
This would would have been a great series. But
yeah, they showed they could beat OKC in the regular season. They showed the same thing with the Clippers. I actually think, this is what I think Portland could have beat OKC in 5,
what?
and then lose to San Antonio in 4 because of the matchups.
You think Portland has favorable matchups against OKC?
Yeah, I think OKC is so afraid of Portland. That's a team they don't want to run into, in my opinion.
Well, their point guards match up, well. 2 explosive point guards. And then, you're right, I think...
You have no Tabo. You have no...
Tabo would have been a bigger factor, don't you think?
Yeah, well,
maybe not, actually.
Well, the way they played him, I just think... I'm so mad with OKC, I could go on a rant for 10 minutes, but we don't have time for that, so... let's talk about... what do you want to talk about next?
Well, I want to talk about Chandler Parsons and his 3-year, $46 million offer sheet from Dallas. I just want to say right now, 99% of the time, 95% of the time, restricted free agents are being overpaid. And in this case, I think Parsons is, and this thing that happened to Gordon Hayward, that he got a huge deal, but $40 million deal, and he was a good player, but he's probably more in the $12 million range, because Gordon Hayward had $63 million offer sheet over 4 years, which is over $50 million a year.
So do you think Parsons is kind of a product of a system a little bit? Because I think
he's good anywhere, though.
I think he is good anywhere, but I think Houston is his best spot because it's a fast break, system, up and down. He's a really athletic guy, and he's going to always get up and down. That really inflates his points. I think with Dallas and an older team, I don't think he gives you the same impact, really.
But Dallas showed they can run it up and down the court.
But not Houston's just crazy though.
Huh?
Houston's just ridiculous with their fast break. Like Dallas has proved it. You're right, but not to the same magnitude as Houston.
Yeah, and Houston's depleted right now. Even if they do get Parsons, their lack of just depth behind Parsons, Harden, and Howard, they lose 2 key players in Ashik and Lynn. Well, at least Lynn was the key player. You try to create room for a superstar, and they miss out on LeBron. Most likely, going to also miss out on Melo. So, do you try to go for a guy like Luol Deng, or maybe Greg Monroe, who's a restricted free agent? Or there's some guys who are still left.
I would go with Deng.
You'd go for... Yeah, Deng would be a good fit for them.
I think Deng would be good off the bench. I think Deng would just be a good fit in general. I think he provides a lot of, experience, and I think I agree. I don't think Greg Monroe would work because Monroe's going to need a lot of touches. And like you always say, there's only one ball. And we know how many times James Harden loves to put it up. And he loves to shoot. And Howard needs the ball. And just so many guys that need 15 shots. So I don't think Monroe would be a good fit.
And for Houston to match that, they wouldn't have enough cap space to sign anyone. They wouldn't have enough cap space to sign Luol Deng and Chandler Parsons. Because if they have to exceed that $15 million offer sheet, then it's probably gonna have to be like 16 or 17. That's really overpaying someone trying to make them live up to something they're really not. And which is the same thing for Gordon Hayward, he'd be a great fit for Charlotte. They have a lot of guys in that wing area, Gerald Henderson, Kid Gilchrist, Jeffrey Taylor. They just got P.J. Hairston. He's crazy, but, they'll try to make him work. He's crazy. He was punching high school kids. Come on.
Well, whenever it's the, professional player or, a guy or at that level, whenever they come to a high school game, they just want to punch everybody and they want to get mad at the refs. I mean, who was a guy? There have been some crazy, AAU dad stories with, NBA players. I don't know all of them, but I agree.
It was Mike Bibby.
Oh, yeah, Mike Bibby. Well, Team Bibby is in California, right? He has an AAU team here.
I think so, yeah.
No, he has one in Southern California, I think. I've never played against Team Bibby. I would love to. I'd love to go up to Mike Bibby and ask for his autograph and start crying about the 2002 Western Conference Finals Game 6. But, yeah, so getting back to the point that you mentioned, so, you know what? I forgot where we were.
We were talking about,
I forgot. I went off on the whole Mike Bibby rant about 2002 Game 6.
Oh, gosh. Too many rants or, you guys cheated us. It's ridiculous, Sacramento. That's all they remember. 2002 Game 6. They could have won Game 7. It was in Sacramento.
Yeah, I agree there. I think, okay, we're going to have to finish this up real quick, but I agree with you there. I think they had a chance in Game 7. They can make all the excuses in the world about Game 6, but Lakers had to win in a tough environment. They really did.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about Isaiah Thomas?
Oh, yeah, the Phoenix level continue on national sports. Can I just call about every single host here on national sports? We talk too much about the big markets. We talk too much about the big storylines. We talk too much about, what Melo is doing, what, even LeBron is doing, or what Dirk is doing, or what Derrick Rose is doing. You know what? Noah, Blake, Robert, everybody, I'm calling you out. Talk about the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to do a whole entire show of Phoenix Suns basketball, okay? And ESPN, I'm coming right after you. I'm going to have a whole day of just Phoenix Suns stuff. And Isaiah Thomas is such an underrated player. Some even can say he was the best player in Sacramento. Well, not talented, but just more production.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be huge coming off the bench. He's such a great leader. He's willing to put the work in. He's such a great listener. Such a great skill set. And you know what? If Phoenix doesn't make the playoffs, you want to make a crazy bet?
What?
If Phoenix doesn't make the playoffs, I should do something.
Yeah, Phoenix, they should, because they were 9th seed, and they didn't have Bledsoe for almost half the season.
Okay, if everybody, let's just say this, even with their new talent and everything, if Phoenix doesn't make it, I don't know, what should I do?
Watch out for injuries,
Oh yeah, I shouldn't do or anything crazy like when Shaq wore Speedo on TV. I don't want to do that. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out a different time. But I have to do something if Phoenix doesn't make it.
Do you think Isaiah will get enough minutes though as a backup? Because he can't really. It's gonna be. I know he's like one of the first guys off the bench, but he's behind two workhorses. You know, Bledsoe and Dragic hardly ever get fatigued. So how would Isaiah be able to carve out minutes?
I think maybe early in the year they'll be okay, but later in the year they'll need it because Bledsoe was starting to break down. I mean, even in that Dallas game, remember that Dallas game at the end of the year?
Yeah.
He really struggled. I mean, it seemed like, like he was hobbling down the court. It was tough for him to get to the basket, and I think that's why, adding Isaiah is going to be so important.
So do you think it's almost as an insurance policy?
Yeah.
What if, because Bledsoe's, I don't think they ever signed with, he was still a restricted free agent. If someone offers Bledsoe a huge deal, then maybe they might let him go and they still have Isaiah. And a lot of guard depth in young players.
Yeah, I think Phoenix, they have a lot of flexibility in what they're able to do. What do you think about one of your favorite players? He's coming to Miami. Mick Buckets. Josh McRoberts and Danny Granger. They're both coming to Miami. Are those, is that going to be a nice big three with Dwayne Wade?
I think they're a playoff team. I don't think any further first round exit. I just want to say, Bosh, what were you thinking saying? First of all, Bosh isn't even worth 5 years, $118 million. He's not worth $23.6 million.
Are you sure about that?
I do not think Bosh is worth that much. Do you 23.6 a year? No.
Well, how much would you give him?
And they committed for 2 months. I would give him. Well, 5 year 118 was the max they could give him because they have his bird rights. That's the most. Maybe like 5 years, 100 or because you want to stay frugal so you can sign other guys. But you should have taken the 4 year, $88 million. It's less money, but really, I don't think for him. I think he was thinking about his role on the team and how many touches he would get and how much scoring. I think that's what it's about because he knows in Houston he's the forgotten third option. He is. Like you say, Dwight needs to be the focal point.
But
and,
wait, no, go ahead about Dwight being the focal point.
You always say Dwight needs to be the focal point of the offense, and Harden obviously has to be the second. So Bosh is lost again. So that's why I ultimately think he chose Miami.
You know what I'm mad at? Okay, he didn't go to Houston. You know what? I'm so mad at Chris Bosh. I'm gonna burn his jersey too, like all those Cleveland and Miami fans. But, well, not Cleveland fans now. But why not? I heard some rumors before Bosh was thinking about going to Houston. Why didn't you come back to Toronto?
Oh, no.
Why not? Why not? Amir Johnson could be a great bench player.
They didn't have the cap space. They didn't have that $20 million that he wanted.
Well, he could have sacrificed to come back home.
Well, actually, what they could have done is, if you're right, they didn't, because if he would have come back, they wouldn't have had to sign Patrick Patterson, and probably they could have not signed Grievous. They would have had enough. But yeah, Bosh was ever thinking about going back to Toronto. Toronto, I don't think would want him back.
Why not? He's such a great player.
I think Toronto's in a different direction. They're in a hostile, us against the world type phase, and Bosh wouldn't be able to jump on that.
They are the bad boy Pistons of our generation. I mean, they've got the whole border thing. They've got the geographically, they're on top of it. The physical toughness of DeMar DeRozan and Valanciunas. So, but I think
heard Blatch may be going to Toronto. Andre Blatch.
Oh, God, Andre Blatch. You know how many touches that guy wants. He's going to try to run over everybody to the rim. I mean, he's like 3 times worse than Amir Johnson when it comes to running over people to the rim.
He loves that Euro step.
Oh, God. He thinks he's like a...
He thinks he's Tyreek.
Well, no. Well, you know who he really thinks he's like? He thinks he's Ralph Sampson. He thinks he can, like, be a huge guy and a guard, but he doesn't have enough of the skill set. If he comes to Toronto, I'm worried for Valanciunas, because...
Why?
Because he might get outworked by Blatch.
No, I think they know Valanciunas is the center of the future.
Well, I hope Valanciunas' confidence wouldn't get ruined, because Blatch has had some rough memories with other teammates. So Blatch, wow, if he could go to Toronto, that'd be interesting. What do you think about another big man, Gortat? He's coming back to the place that he really belongs, and that's Washington. He's going to stay for $60 million in 5 years.
I think the price is good. He's worth $12 million. Maybe.
Yeah.
The years, maybe.
That's a stretch.
I would have said maybe 3. Maybe 3, because Washington is a good team. I really think they're a top 4 team in the East.
They are in the class of the Eastern Conference.
Okay. Well, they still have to get. They haven't signed Ariza yet.
They will. I think the class of the East is, to me, the best regular season team. I think, and I know you're gonna laugh at this. And geographically, it has a part with this Toronto. They're gonna be number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Number 2 is Cleveland. Number 3 is Washington. And number 4 is Indiana.
You're really telling me you're
Yes.
gonna put Toronto over Cleveland? I think Cleveland is the number 1 seed. I just don't think they get past the West.
No. I think Toronto will be the best regular season team, but I think Cleveland will come out of the East.
But I don't know how you think Toronto can get that number 1 seed.
Well, geographically, in the regular season, it's about that. It's about youth. Well, Cleveland does have youth, my bad. But
Cleveland has talent, too.
Toronto doesn't have talent?
Besides DeRozan and Lowry, they need a huge step up with Valanciunas.
But they have great role players.
They do. I'll give you that. They have some good role players.
And they have and to me, I think also, too, Toronto is going to be a little bit more experienced than Cleveland, because Cleveland has a lot of work to do. They have a new coach, young players. I don't think Cleveland's going to start out that well, to be honest.
Kind of like Miami didn't start out that well in 2010.
Yeah, I think Toronto's going to have that advantage. So that's why I see them as the number 1 seed.
But what about Chicago?
No. They're the 5th seed.
What if Chicago gets Luol Deng? Do you think they could?
Oh, that's tough now. Then I think Indiana 5, Chicago 4.
So
Indiana's going to drop all the way.
Indiana's dropping really quick for you from the number 1 team. What's happening? Indiana, they're not even self-destructing. It's like the East is just getting better around them. They're just standing there. Oh God! It's like when you're a kid and just people are getting taller around you and you're still really short. That's happening in Indiana. They're not doing anything wrong. The team is just getting better around them. Cleveland and
you don't think they have? You don't think they're self-destructing?
Well, no, because they're not really blowing anything up. Besides Steven, honestly, Indiana's probably going to let Stevenson go. They're probably going to let him walk. Because if he rejected a 4-year, $44 million offer, and that's what his market's at, really, I think it's really about him not wanting to play on the team anymore.
But, okay, they've got some big issues. You have Evan Turner. We don't know if he might go to Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, I heard Minnesota.
But if he stays in Indiana, that team is just a mess. Honestly, the personalities, the playing style, it just doesn't fit at all. It's so much talent just like down the drain.
So, and your three best players, if Stevenson leaves, in West, Hibbert, and George, are there for the long run. They all got max deals, or big deals.
You think Hibbert's a factor now?
I don't. Hey, I'm gonna make a bold. I think Indiana. If Stevenson leaves, I think Indiana's a 7th seed.
Oh, now you're on the bandwagon with me.
Because Paul George, I think, will get really frustrated at times with the team. I really do. You've seen it at times towards the end of the season. He was carrying the team. No one else was doing anything.
I don't know about that.
You don't think Paul George is the...
No, he was.
Gem.
I'm kidding. He was the only bright spot, really. Besides David West, and I thought George Hill... To me, George Hill never gets enough credit. He really doesn't.
But he doesn't do much.
Yeah, he does.
He's just solid. They need a more than solid point guard.
So they need a Rondo.
Hey, like I was saying, Stevenson, Hill, and a future first for Rondo.
If Boston takes that, I'll go ahead and burn my Celtics shirt.
What about a Hill and Hibbert?
For Rondo?
Yeah.
No. That's that's worse than the first one.
You really think Hibbert's ineffective now? After a bad postseason and a bad end of regular season?
Yes, because thinking about it, when he was doing really well, at his best, I don't think he's a franchise player. I don't think you can build a team around him. Like, he's going to get 20 to 25 touches a night.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Boston would work.
Yeah, and the thing about him is, he was thriving when they were winning. Like, even when they were losing, he wasn't having good games. You know, there are players who, your team may be losing, but they're still putting up some good numbers. That wasn't him. When the team morale goes down, so does his, and it was just kind of tough to watch.
Yeah, I just think he's so... I think sometimes with this Indiana team, they point the finger way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, sorry. Like, no reason for Paul George to complain or anybody else. It's just ridiculous.
So, now that you know, LeBron went and pieces are in the fall, do you still have the same teams at the bottom of the East and at the West? Do you still have, like, Philly and, you know, Milwaukee? I think Philly's the worst team in the East right now. They really didn't do much, and I think Sam Hinkie knows that they're not going to be good this year.
But do you think I think Nerlens, you know, you're going to get Nerlens and then
Embiid in a few months, a month or two after the season starts.
That could be a nice, you know, twin tower bunch.
It really could be. It would be a really nice. It could be the next Tim Duncan, David Robinson.
You know what? It could be, and then, you know, Michael Carter Williams, he's just such a great player all around. I think that would be great, and then, you know, we get more Tony Roten action, so... Hey, I like Tony Roten. He's such a good player.
But Philly, I don't see Philly as a free destination. I really do. Because they have the young guys. They got the Michael Carter Williams and the Twin Towers, but besides that, I don't see anyone saying, hey, I'm taking my talents to Philly.
I would, but I mean, for the cheesesteaks, but nothing else. Honestly, I don't think Philly's going to be the worst team this year. I think Utah will be.
Yeah, I was gonna say Philly in the NBA, but I'm like, in the East, because even if Utah does get Gordon Hayward, so what about a starting five of this? Trey Burke, Dante Exum at the 2, Gordon Hayward at the 3, and then your boy Enes Kanter and Derek Favors manning the middle.
You know what? I think that's... I actually, as much as I like Exum, and I think he's going to be... I've like said he's going to be a star in this league. You know who Exum's going to remind me of?
Who?
Dirk. Remember when Dirk really struggled in the beginning? When he first came to the league? I see the exact same story, really, with Exum. It's going to be tough playing in Utah.
Right. He's gonna get the touches. Oh, well, their team is just they're trying to develop everyone. So touches are actually not going to be super easy to come around. You know, Trey Burke is a scorer. Gordon Hayward is their best player, so he's gonna. And then you want to develop your big man. Exum is in a tough situation.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, yeah, I agree there. What do you think about... I'm looking here. What do you think about Milwaukee? Hey, you know what? Actually, before... this kind of has to do with Milwaukee. What do you think are going to be the best rivalries this year in the NBA? Like, the best matchups we're going to see on national TV? Like, Cleveland against maybe Houston, or like what are going to be some big matchups this year that we should look out for?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
I think anytime Cleveland plays Milwaukee, whether it's everyone wants to see Wiggins versus Parker. I think that whether it's is it going to be 4 times this on because they're in the same division? All 4 times is going to be a big game. I think if they're both playing. Whether it's 1 or 2 times when Cleveland goes to Miami,
yeah.
You know how the NBA always releases the schedule and they release the big games. I think that'll be a pretty big game.
I got one really good one.
San Antonio, Miami. Actually, take that back. That won't be that big of a game because no LeBron. I think Houston, San Antonio is a big game too.
I think Houston, Portland.
Oh, yeah.
But I got another big one, and it's kind of been going under the radar. It's the Antetokounmpo family. And you know what? The Antetokounmpo family, they are they may go down as the greatest family in the NBA. Better than the Barrys, better than the Currys. You got these 2 brothers squaring off at the Garden, okay? Giannis is going to prove to everybody that he is a star in the Garden. Will he outplay his brother? Who do you think will get the better of that matchup?
Their animated family.
Yeah, who do you think will get the better of that matchup?
Oh, Giannis. His brother doesn't even have a contract yet.
No, but do you think Giannis... Okay, 5 to 10 years from now. 5 to 10 years from now. Do you think Giannis will be a star in this league?
His rookie season number-wise wasn't superb, but people liked watching him. I enjoy watching him. Him playing alongside Jabari is going to be nice, whether Jabari is playing the power forward or he's playing the small forward. And because Giannis can play the shooting guard because I don't know if I don't think Milwaukee's satisfied with OJ Mayo chucking up deep threes.
Oh no, I'm trading OJ.
What? You didn't even want him as a veteran presence?
No, if he's gonna inflate his stats constantly, I mean, it's just ridiculous how this guy tries to take over games. Honestly, like even in Memphis, he would try to take over games. It was beyond ridiculous how this guy, he's taking really bad shots, and I would just go trade him to Utah, because Utah's going to be the worst team in the league. Might as well get a good draft pick. So just trade him to Utah.
Yeah, maybe this could be a good starting lineup. Brandon Knight, Nate Walters, Adentacumpo, Jabari Parker, and Larry Sanders at the center. Or even John Henson. I don't know where... I think Ilyasova is a better bench player.
Yeah, I would agree. Giannis really needs to step his game up. I mean, well, first we need to give him some time, but, like, I really think Giannis is kind of the future in the NBA. Like, I know you may disagree with that, but, and many do. Many people don't know who Giannis is, but I see great potential in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Pau Gasol, Chicago working to complete an agreement.
What?
Financial details of the agreement are not yet known. Wow. He'd bring the Bulls some... Wow. And they're just going to sign him outright then. They're not going to... Maybe they haven't said anything... Oh, yeah, they haven't said anything about a sign and trade, so... Hey, looks like we're going to have the best passing big man duo in the league. You got Joakim Noah, Pau Gasol, Derrick Rose if he's healthy. Wow.
You know what? Now the East is really tough.
Yeah, where do you move Chicago now if this deal, is finalized?
Toronto. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make my entire playoff 8. You know what? I'm gonna make my playoff predictions right now. Number 1, Toronto. Number 2, Cleveland. Number 3, Washington.
What? Over Chicago?
Wait, number 4, Chicago. Number 5, Washington. Indiana. Number 6. Oh God, this is gonna be tough.
Detroit?
No. Okay, wait. Oh, God.
Brooklyn?
Okay, number 6. Only if Gordon Hayward comes to Charlotte, they're 6th. Hornets. Number 7.
Atlanta.
Yes. Number 8.
Brooklyn?
No. This is tough. This is really tough. Not New York.
Makes the playoffs?
Say that again?
You don't think Brooklyn makes the playoffs?
No, they're on their last legs. I'm gonna make a giant bold pick. Orlando.
Whoa!
We gotta go bold. We didn't think Atlanta was gonna make it last year, right? At the 8th spot, so we have to go bold in the East.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Orlando, the NBA TV guys who were doing the Orlando Summer League game were they're comparing Aaron Gordon to Tyrese Thomas.
What?
They're basically just saying he was really athletic. They're like, yeah, Tyrese Thomas could jump too.
What? Who was it? Kendall Gill or something, or was it like?
Was it Kendall Gill or was it 3D?
3D is sometimes like out of control, and Kendall Gill just says things that are like mind-boggling things.
I'm not sure who it was. I think it might have been Kendall Gill, but it was this morning. But yeah, I was saying it's kind of too early to compare Aaron Gordon to anyone.
Yeah,
He's played 3 summer league games.
I just think.
Do you start Aaron Gordon if you're Jock Vaughn, or is it still too early to tell? Ooh, Tobias Harris would be a great 6th man for them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you start Aaron Gordon. If you want to make the playoffs, I think you do. I just want to see Orlando get the 8th spot and then play Toronto. Just see how interesting
that's a good series.
Yeah.
But why do you think Toronto? I don't.
You know what two advantages both Chicago and Toronto have? Because of the time zones. And Phil Jackson talked about this and said that the time zone, Chicago time zone, it's so, because it's like from the West Coast, it's only a 2-hour difference. And then from the East Coast, I believe it's here, let me check. Because having that central time zone is huge. Phil Jackson said if it wasn't for the central time zone, we don't get 72 wins.
Well,
did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, Phil said that. He said the time zone really, we weren't that affected, honestly, by, going to the East Coast or going to the West Coast because we were right in the middle. So it's all those little things, and Toronto has that edge every time they're at home with the crowd, DeMar just plays so much, better at home.
Yeah, and they got all those early morning games on the weekends.
Yeah, it's so tough to come in at 2 a.m. and all of a sudden get to shoot around at, you get to the hotel at 4, get to the shoot around at 10, eat breakfast at 8, you get no sleep, you go to the arena like a zombie, you take bad threes in the fourth quarter and you don't have any energy in your legs, and that's just where DeMar DeRozan takes over every night in Toronto. It is going to be a Toronto number 1 seed.
Wow, you're calling it this. Okay, can you call the West, or is that too hard?
I'll call it. Let's both call it. You know what? You tell me who's going to be in the first 8 spots in the West.
Okay. I want to go San Antonio 1, but I really don't think they will. I'm gonna go OKC 1.
Okay.
San Antonio 2. Houston 3. Golden State 4. Portland 5. No. Yeah, Portland 5. Clippers 6. Denver 7.
Denver?
Yes! I had to throw Denver.
Whoa. No.
Yes.
No. Denver?
Denver got bitten by the injury bug so hard this year.
You think... Okay, I agree there.
You with the injury part or the Denver part?
No. The injury bug. But they are not making the play. Don't tell me you're not putting Phoenix in.
No, I was gonna say Phoenix 8, and then I was gonna say Phoenix and Dallas fighting for the last 2 spots like they did. Because the reason I'm saying Denver.
Well, what about the Clippers?
I had Clippers at 6.
Okay, you have Clippers 6, so Denver is 7.
But yeah, because they get Lawson back.
They're getting a Flalo.
Back. JaVale comes back. Nate Robinson tore his ACL. He's back. Hickson's back. A Flalo. They got a Flalo too.
True.
And I like Denver as a team. So if not Denver, then Dallas. If Dallas is able to sign a free agent, if Dallas doesn't make any big free agent signs, it'll make the playoffs. I think Memphis. I don't know. I don't know about Memphis.
I don't think Memphis makes it. I think at the end, Pelicans slip in at the 8th spot.
Pelicans?
Yeah. I said that last year too, probably. They got Ashik. Now defensively, they're gonna be a tougher team. They got hit by the injury bug. We know if Drew Holiday was healthy the entire year, that team is cruising into the playoffs.
Yeah, and they have two great subs, Ryan Anderson and Tyreek.
Exactly. They run that pick and pop, but then Tyreek says, "Oh no, I don't ever pass it to you, Ryan, so I'm just going to go ahead and Euro step past another 7-foot center again." So, I mean, that's just typical Tyreek. I mean, have you seen his mixtapes?
Yes.
Yeah, those are really enjoyable, I got to be honest. Like,
what about a team like the Kings?
I mean, if James McDaniel says the Kings are making it, maybe I'm going to believe it too. I don't know. I mean, can Sleep Train inspire... Oh, spitting all over the place. Can Sleep Train inspire DeMarcus Cousins to have an MVP year this year?
They have a big three. Like, they got Collison and Gay and DeMarcus, and then they got Stauskas and McLemore, Carl Landry, Derek Williams. For some reason, Derek Williams is still in the summer league. I don't know why.
He wants to get a few runs in.
Class.
I said he wants to get a few runs in.
And he's in the Drew League.
Wait, so does this guy ever rest or no?
Well, he was last week at least. Maybe he's taking a break for now, but yeah, I've been seeing some Drew League videos with Paul George and Nick Young.
And Gilbert Arenas, he's obsessed with the Drew League.
I knew Barron was, but I didn't know Gilbert was.
Is Barron getting in the gym? I thought Gilbert's the only one trying to make a comeback.
No, Barron was in the Drew League. I saw him. He was hooping it up. I saw him in some videos.
So he really wants to get back in the gym? I mean, he was trying to make his comeback on TNT. That was pretty funny. If I'm Gilbert, though, I make a huge splash and I get Lance to come with me to Orlando.
If you're... What?
If I'm Gilbert, I'm calling up Lance right now, at this minute.
What'd you say?
I said, if I'm Gilbert, I'm calling Lance Stevenson right now, immediately, and say, let's both team up and join forces and get to Orlando as soon as possible. And Gilbert should be willing to sacrifice some money because he took in a lot of money these past few years.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta give it up to Gilbert for playing in the Drew League, and everyone who's playing in the Drew League, Kyrie Irving put up 54 in the Seattle Pro-Am, and Steph Curry put up 43 in San Francisco. So NBA players keep on balling on these amateurs.
I know some of these guys play too much games. Honestly, to me, Derek will, Gilbert, work on your defense. Okay, stop trying to cross people up in the Drew League. It's not funny. Honestly, I think both him and Swaggy P think it's funny. Okay, honestly, they think it's funny to cross people up, to go 1-on-5 and score 150 points. But then come into the actual NBA season, come very close to making the playoffs, and then play no defense and never make it. to the championship or to the finals. Is that how they want to live their life, honestly? Come on, Gilbert.
Have you ever been to the Drew League, Cameron?
No, I want to, though.
Yeah, it seems like, seems really fun. Kind of like Summer League, but with more stars. Brandon Jennings played, too.
Yeah, well, Brandon Jennings, he's from this area. Actually, the club team I used to play for, he would always come down. Well, I never got to see him because he would be at the summer camps, and I would go to different summer camps, but he would always come down. He was really good friends with the AAU coach. So, you know what? I'm going to sign my name into the Drew League. If Gilbert's doing it, I want to be in the Big Three with Gilbert. I mean, Gil, give me the rock, okay? Get out of the way and give me the rock. I am coming after your spot right now.
We just talked about Nick Young. What do you think about Nick Young and Jordan Hill both staying in LA?
Well, that's typical Swaggy P trying to stay in LA because he wants to be an entertainer. I mean, the way he plays, it's so flashy, honestly. Whoever the coach is, I just beg of you, do not lose your patience, okay?
Could you imagine Swaggy P on a small market team?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He's like the Lance Stevenson of the big markets.
Yes, he is. He wants to be okay, there's a difference, though. Lance, he wants to be, like, Lance is, like, so out of control, like, he's obsessed with winning, Lance. Like, he doesn't just want to win, he wants to, like, take control and win the game so badly. But Swaggy P is just out there to make Jack happy, Denzel happy, Jennifer Aniston happy. He's not there to win games, honestly. Drew League, he wants to win. He wants to go undefeated. In the NBA, no. But Lance, like, he's willing to run over anybody to win one game.
I think Lance cares about, the stats. Lance always trying to look for the triple-double. Always trying to get the triple-double. Whether they're up 20, coach, let me try to get the triple-double. Nick is more about the scoring and crossing people over, celebrating when the shot doesn't even go in, 360 layups, high-fiving the celebrity as he walks by.
There's no way, and let me just say this. If Nick Young played with Bobby Knight as his head coach, that would be a reality TV show. That would be that would be the best reality TV show you could find, honestly. Like, talk about, like, two guys on the opposite sides of the world in Bobby Knight and Nick Young. I want that to happen.
Yeah, that'd be... But the Lakers, they need to find themselves a coach. They've interviewed Byron Scott multiple times. Just sign the man already. No one else has come forward. No one, I think, really wanted to interview for the job because it's a disastrous job. You got so many different characters on the team. You got Kobe, who's about as stern as it gets.
Yeah.
You have Nick Young, who's playful, and you got rookies, and I don't even think the Lakers have a complete team yet. I think we only have like 8 guys under contract, so
it's a mess. Kind of.
It really is. We're a mess. I'm not afraid to say it. Sorry, Kobe. I know you told Jimmy Kimmel you think you can make the playoffs. We all know that's not. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's just not going to happen. The West is too loaded.
Well, I would have to agree there, but you know what's a big mess right now?
What?
Dennis Rodman. Breaking news. I found this on Yahoo and it's all over TMZ and now on every website, every blog you can find. I just found out a woman claimed that she was drugged while drinking with Dennis Rodman. So Dennis is in even more trouble. Dennis, come on. You are, through all that, through all the darkness, Dennis, you do have a great heart. You really do. And what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, Dennis. I think he needs to go back to New York. He needs to work for the Knicks because whenever Dennis is with Phil Jackson, he reaches his inner spirit. And that's my best advice for Dennis.
Is go to New York.
Yeah, go to New York and, kind of play that Alonzo Mourning role and be that, consultant type guy. I think he'd be so good for the Knicks organization.
That's really Dennis. I don't know what's going on with Dennis Rodman, but the NBA is starting to heat up. Well, actually, take it back. It's starting to cool down. Sunday's a big day for some guys. For guys like Gordon Hayward, Chandler Parsons, whether they'll be spending their next 3 or 4 years in a new city. For Chandler Parsons may just be down the road. But there's still some guys who are open. So, Lakers, I'm telling you right now, find someone. We have cap space. We probably still have like 15 million in cap space. Find a couple guys, please.
That's a great way to put it. Celtics, this is my advice. Find a way to trade a guard.
Trade Rondo, but make sure you get a lot of... Don't you think you trade Rondo, but make sure you get pieces back?
No.
Make a bad trade.
That's the one thing we're not going to do. We're not trading Rondo.
No, but Danny Ainge has been so good about... He's heard probably so many trades for Rondo. He hasn't bitten on one of them. Don't you think it's because he's waiting for the perfect trade where he gets assets and players?
It won't happen. Trade Phil Pressey, okay, and get somebody from the Maine Red Claws.
What?
And make a trade and get some draft picks.
How about this?
Stockpile draft picks immediately.
How about Pressey, Humphreys, and Sullinger? Try to package them and a future first for Kevin Love.
Wait. Say that. That was actually a really good trade. Wait, say that again.
Sullinger, Humphreys, Pressey, and a future first for Love.
That would be amazing. And Gerald Wallace.
Is he even on the team anymore? Whatever happened? Oh, he hurt himself. But maybe Minnesota might want more. Maybe you slim it down and just go Jeff Green, Sullinger, and a future first.
No. That's
what?
No. Jeff Green, Gerald Wallace, Pressey, and a first-round pick. Give it to Minnesota. We want Kevin Love. That's all.
Make it unprotected, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and, that's... You think... Minnesota, I think, is the same thing for Boston. Minnesota wouldn't want to trade their superstar unless they know they're getting ample pieces back, whether it's drafts or young players.
Or why not just Sullinger and 2 first-round picks?
Well, 2 first?
Well, you gotta be bold. You gotta go bold if you want to get a bold player like Kevin Love. You gotta go bold. I mean, I mean, if that's the only way they're going to think twice, because
What do you think
Minnesota's not
happens?
willing to bite on anything.
What do you think happens to Love this year in Minnesota as a team? You think they kind of just? You think they have any chance of making the playoffs? They have a talented team.
Yeah, but I think chemistry-wise, I don't think Kevin Love's just going to be fully in-tuned. Really. I mean, the one guy I would trust is Flip Saunders, but... I think they'll make a trade at the All-Star break with Love. I mean, they gotta make a trade. I can't see Kevin Love playing one entire year with them again.
They have some nice pieces. You know, Zach Levine he's seemed like the real deal, and they're. I don't know if if he's gonna stay one more year, or if they finally find a trading partner with him. Hey, maybe Chicago gets Pau Gasol, then trades Pau and say Jimmy Butler for Love, or Pau and Taj Gibson, or Pau and Jimmy Butler for Love.
No.
Not enough pieces?
Pau is older.
True. Maybe they'd have to throw in like maybe a first round or something.
It just seems like Minnesota doesn't want to bite on anything. Any trade. Golden State has come up with so many trades. Minnesota won't bite on it. Cleveland, trade after trade. They don't want to bite on anything. Minnesota, make up your mind.
Even Denver had a good deal for them.
Yeah.
Denver had a nice trade. Boston had a nice trade. It was like Orlando had one too, but Boston's like Olynyk, Sullinger, and the first round of this year for Love, the number 6 pick, and they didn't want it. What's gonna happen is when next summer in 2015, when Love has the player option, he's gonna opt out and he's gone, and you're gonna lose him for nothing.
I'm going to call him. So, we were discussing Kevin Love and what he is going to do. But let's go ahead and wait for Jordan Hunter to come back on. I think Kevin Love would... I really do think Minnesota needs to make a trade desperately. They need to. Right now is struggling to get Jordan back on. So alright, so getting back to our Kevin Love point, should Minnesota, because I agree with you, Minnesota needs to make a trade because he's going to walk. So, do you think the best available trades have already come and gone, or do you think there is something out there that could work?
I think if when summer comes, he's gone, and there are trades out there that I think were good last month that they should have probably taken. or at least negotiated on. But I don't know what their team. I don't know what they're doing with their team at all.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing what they're doing. Is there anything else you want to share before we may head on out?
No, I just want to give a shout out to my friend Kevin Russell, who actually called LeBron going. He's a huge Cleveland fan, and he called LeBron going back to Cleveland 2 years ago, and this was right after they won the championship.
Wow.
Against OKC, and then he said it when they won it against San Antonio. He said, "Yeah, LeBron's coming back to Cleveland," and we were saying no, he's not. He just won a championship, but yeah, this
great faith.
I have to give him props for that. That was crazy.
That's a great faith. It just he's really saying that was great call by him. Shout out to a lot of people. Josiah Delatorre, he always wants to be on the show. We will get him on the show one day. Again, he's a huge Laker fan, like you. But he does say too many mean things about LeBron, so I don't think he can come on. He's gonna say too many mean things about LeBron. I'm just kidding, Josiah. Really, there's nothing else. I don't have any more shout-outs besides, it's going to be a great NBA year. It's been a great NBA free agency, and ESPN, please, try to tone it down a little bit with LeBron and Melo. There are also other free agents, too, besides them.
Well, I think the reason they were talking about him so much is all these reports were coming out, everyone else has been just kind of quiet. There hasn't been much Stevenson news since he rejected the offer from Indiana, though.
Yeah, but they're at least, I'm fine with them talking a lot about LeBron and Melo, but they didn't even mention that Tabo went to Atlanta.
True.
Just say it for 10 seconds. That's all. I mean, that's all I'm asking for. I mean, I like LeBron a lot, but all of a sudden you guys are making me start to not like LeBron with the amount of over-coverage. I mean, it's how can you make a huge LeBron fan not like LeBron based on your coverage? That means you're doing something wrong. That's it. NBA free agency. In the paint. Cameron and Jordan, we are done. Great night. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you next time. Bye.